Just a huge admission there as far as Hafiz Saeed goes.
Now, Defence Minister of Pakistan Khawaja Asif yesterday claimed, while addressing a security conference in Munich, said that Jamaat-ud-Dawa Chief Hafiz Saeed can pose a serious threat to society.
Interestingly, back home, the centre is in fact to oppose a private member's bill that has been moved in the Rajya Sabha recently, seeking to declare countries like Pakistan as the terrorist state. First up, let's in fact take a listen in to what the Defence Minister of Pakistan has stated.
In the last 4-5 months, we have put a lot of people who could be potential facilitators of terrorism. And we have put them under Schedule 4, which is a section in our local legal system. They could be dangerous to our own society. So we have taken some stern actions against them, and we intend to, put them to test, or you can say we intend to bring them to a legal framework.
Who is the independent Rajya Sabha MP, Mr. Rajesh Chandrasekhar, the centre has opposed the bill that was tabled by you. They're saying that it is detrimental to the relationship with the neighbouring nation. How do you see this, sir?
No, I think that's the point of view of the Home Ministry. I respect that. Like I have said all along, the idea of introducing the bill is to start a debate, to start a conversation within Parliament about what India should do with Pakistan's aiding and abetting of terrorism, and how we can use the various economic and trade tools that we have to inspire Pakistan to becoming a more responsible nation. Now, the last few days, Pakistan has taken some steps to move against proclaimed offenders like Hafiz Saeed. And if the government of India believes that Pakistan is on its way to becoming a more reasonable and responsible country, I respect what they are saying. But the debate of this bill in Parliament will continue, because I genuinely believe that Pakistan has to do a lot more than just imprison Hafiz Saeed. There are a list of sins that Pakistani-based terrorists are still accountable for, including the 26/11 massacre in Mumbai, for which people have to be prosecuted, the Pathankot attack, for which people have asked for prosecution. So I think the debate in Parliament should continue, in the media should continue. People should continue to observe what Pakistan does, because it will require more than just one action by Pakistan for India to say Pakistan has changed.
As you said, the main objective behind this bill was to initiate a discussion or a debate across the country. Do you think it will bring people out black and white, that who is with the bill and who is against the bill, and what are the views of the government or the opposition parties on this particular thing?
No, I think there are, what I am seeing after I have introduced the bill and the larger public debate outside of Parliament, is that there are people who obviously want a tougher line towards Pakistan. There are people who are mainly political, who see this as somewhat some sort of an attack on the Muslims of India, which it is not. This is about Pakistan. This is not anything political. And then there are some people who believe that there has to be a middle ground, which is that some parts of the bill need to be relaxed and made less harsh. So I think we are seeing clearly the large majority of the people who are engaged with me want very unambiguously a tougher line towards Pakistan.
How do you respond to the criticism of Congress party particularly, who's saying that what harm it is going to do to Pakistan with your bill, and that you are reducing the parliament to a laughing stock?
Look, I think who is reducing Parliament to a laughing stock and who has reduced government to a laughing stock, I think the Congress is in a good position to explain that. I don't need to explain that to the people of India. The Congress is notorious for its shifting positions on issues of national security. They have called surgical strikes "Khoon ki dalali." They have supported my bill on television. Then they have changed their position. There are, to a large percentage, many Congress MPs in Parliament support a tougher line on Pakistan. But the politics of elections and the politics of sometimes minority appeasement causes the Congress to do things that are not explainable through logic. So I would rather not comment too deeply on what their position is, except to say I believe that, as most MPs believe, that the national security of India and the national interest of the people of India has to be always sacrosanct. This is not about harming Pakistan, this is not about harming Pakistanis, this is about protecting India, and this is about protecting Indians.
Sir, one last question. The ball seems to be rolling. The Pakistan has acted against a Mumbai attack mastermind, Hafiz Saeed. They put him in a house arrest. Now the defense minister of Pakistan said that Hafiz Saeed is also a threat to their nation as well. Do you think the Pakistan is trying to be more responsive to the demands of India, to act against terror?
No, I hope so. I think Hafiz Saeed being put on a Schedule 4 on a terror watch list by Pakistan 8 years after or 9 years after the Mumbai attack is, like I said, belated wisdom dawning. But I hope it is not temporary wisdom, and I hope it is not just a cosmetic action against him. I think the need for Hafiz Saeed is not just to be put under house arrest, but also to be prosecuted for the crimes he has committed. For India, it is important that for all those people who lost their lives in Mumbai, that the perpetrator of the crime is seen to be prosecuted. I would be happy to believe that Pakistan is changing, that Pakistan is also seeing that aiding and abetting terrorism is costing it.
Okay, let's get in further inputs. We have with us our senior editor Madhav taking us through more details here on what exactly this bill takes into account. Is it just about declaring Pakistan a terrorist state, or is it also about taking other actions, diplomatic offensive, as far as also stopping cultural funds there goes?
Well, not surprising really at some level, considering that as far as Parliament is concerned, for the past 40 years, no private member's bill really has been passed in toto. So clearly, of course, the important aspect is that the bill itself, of course, may have several aspects which may be controversial or which can be debated and discussed. But the core issue really of Pakistan and of Parliament and India as a whole, Parliament, of course, being the representatives of Indian citizens as a whole, coming out and unequivocally, criticizing those who sponsor terror or allow terror to emanate from their countries onto Indian soil. That is the important message that perhaps this bill contains, which perhaps the government should consider, given the fact that this is an issue on which the ruling party has raised several times in the past, and really, of course, with a little action, apart from a little bit of lip service that we've seen coming in from Pakistan's side, nothing in the form of concrete action, in the form of conviction of all those who are in fact responsible for spreading terror on Indian soil has been put in place in the past as well. We've seen incidents from 26/11 to Pathankot, and Indian government providing dossier after dossier of information to Pakistan, but very little that has taken place on ground. So really, whether the Indian government should also ramp up the kind of pressure that is trying to put on through Pakistan, not just through other countries and other fora, but also on its own.
Right, Madhav, stay on with us. We'll also take a look at other reactions coming in on the story. There you go.
I think Government of India is doing the right thing. There are 100 ways when you can prevail upon the world community to advise, to in fact tell Pakistan to mind its way. And I tell you, there is a churning within Pakistan itself, where the people of Pakistan, they are mobilizing themselves and telling the state that please don't be guided by the non-state actors. Under these kind of context, I think the very idea of that kind of bill is actually antithetical to the way we look at peace and progress in South Asia.